Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We are told that being born in a certain ascendant gives you certain qualities about the ascendant and certain attributes, certain characteristics and certain personalities are given to people who are born in a certain ascendant. And by virtue of being born in that ascendant, you will also show some behaviors, certain tendencies and certain potentials in terms of how your overall manifestation will be, what your energies will be, where your focus will be and how you will deal on a day-to-day basis. Some videos on the net also talk about relating the purpose of your life to the ascendant itself. Now, while it is true that being born in a certain ascendant does give you qualities and characteristics of the ascendant and also the ruling Lagna Lord, and so that cannot be negated, that has to be a very important part of the horoscope analysis and manifestations of results later on. However, to state that the purpose of life is attached to the ascendant you are born in, or that your characteristics are more based on the ascendant, that is not completely true. In fact, it is very far away from the truth. Then what is the truth? Let us take for example people born in a certain ascendant and being given a characteristics about the respective ascendant, the Lagna. However, the different signs have been given rulership of different houses, which means that particular sign rules the manifestation of the relationship attached to that particular house. So, for example, for an Aries ascendant native, while you may give characteristics to the individual basis being the Aries, being born in the Aries ascendant, however, the 7th house is ruled by Libra, ruled by Venus. So, relationships which Libra represents, balance which Libra represents, and Venus which rules the respective sign, they will play an upper hand and an important part in how the 7th house results or the relationship results will manifest. Here, being born in Aries plays a less part, but 7th house ruled by Libra, by Venus, plays a stronger part. The reason being is, being born in an ascendant cannot give you complete characteristics because the ascendant lord can be combusted, the ascendant lord can be debilitated, the ascendant lord can go into a bad yoga or even maybe an exaltation sign also. So, everybody born in the same ascendant cannot have similar characteristics, but a host of blueprint given to the individual, and that blueprint is not only because of the ascendant. The only role the ascendant plays there is that because the ascendant has started to, ascendant's rulership is the first house, the other signs are given rulership of the other houses, and that's to a large extent the manifestation of the characteristics that the ascendant gives. So, by virtue of Aries ruling the first house for an Aries native, the second house is ruled by Taurus. So, here Venus is given the rulership of the second house. Third house is ruled by Mercury by virtue of being Gemini. So, Mercury is given rulership and not Mars, which is the Lagna Lord. So, to say that the person will behave about second house depending on how Aries is manifesting, or he will communicate about the third house, or his short journeys will all be related to Mars energies because he is born in Aries, is not true. The respective sign who is giving the rulership will play a larger part in the manifestation of the house rather than the ascendant. Here we are not talking about planets placed in it. We are just talking about a horoscope which has no planets in it, but certain signs rulership is already given. Planets placed in them will bring a different manifestation altogether, but by virtue of signs ruling certain houses, those signs will play a larger part in the manifestation of that house. So, 10th house for Aries ascendant native will have Capricorn energies, and Capricorn energies and Saturn's rulership will have the upper hand, not Mars. 4th house for Aries ascendant native ruled by Cancer, which is ruled by Moon. So, Cancer sign and Moon's characteristics and Moon's attributes and Moon's personality will rule the 4th house, not Mars. So, what we are saying is that the overall dimension of a person born in a certain ascendant will be based on the entire lot of energies combined of all the houses put together rather than only of the ascendant. And that is the blueprint of planetary energies when you're born in a certain ascendant. A few days back I made a video on the blueprint of opposing energies in the horoscope. Please go and look at that video so that it will give you an idea what opposing planetary energies represent and how they get manifested. This video is about what is the blueprint of planetary energies when you're born in a certain ascendant. Say for example, for an Aries ascendant native, Venus rules the second house and the seventh house. So Venus now is getting connected to the second house of your principles, your values and culture, the family that you're born in, family business, food, your language, also money, earnings, savings. All of this are getting connected to the second house and Venus rulership. And the seventh house, the house of partnerships, teamwork, business, dealing with people on a day-to-day basis, and having Libra energies of balance and relationships. So relationships, balancing relationships, balance in the relationships, working with teams and with the spouse is all manifested by the seventh house. These are Venus energies. But what are other Venus energies for an Aries ascendant native? Sometimes we miss seeing that, and that's where sometimes we miss the overall blueprint of an Aries ascendant native. The overall blueprint will be how the planets will manifest about each sign. Say for example, Venus for an Aries ascendant native gets debilitated in the 6th house, but it gets exalted in the 12th house. So your Venus energies are, when you are combining energies together for a particular house, then you have to see the manifestation of that planet for that house, and that's how you should see all the planet for all the houses. For example, Venus about the 3rd house. What is the Venusian energy about the 3rd house? The 3rd house for an Aries ascendant natives is Gemini energies. So in your communication with your siblings, because 3rd house is also siblings, Venus, which means showing that you appreciate them, that you love and care for them, and you stand by them, and there is more balance in the relationship, is how the Venusian energy, the Venus energies will manifest in the 3rd house, which is Gemini. However, it is also based on communication. So you need to communicate enough to the sibling about that you want a balance, and that's how you should approach the siblings. Even if the younger sibling with the 3rd house denotes is obviously maybe sometimes much younger to you, yet the way you approach that relationship should be more of balance with respect to Venus rather than trying to rule them or show leadership there, because that is not Leo energy, but that is Gemini energy in the 3rd house, and now you're bringing in the Libra energy to that. So you need to keep in mind that when you deal with your siblings, younger siblings, for an Aries ascendant native, where Venus is concerned, when Venus energies are brought in, there you need to bring in more balance. If you're bringing in Cancerian energies there, Moon energies there, then communication in a balanced manner and communicating that you care, that you're supportive, that you're empathetic to them is how you will deal with it. If you're bringing in the Sun energies there, then keeping in mind that Sun is about leadership, Sun is about volunteering first, taking the first step, then there you need to showcase to the sibling, communicate to the sibling, empathize to the sibling that I'm ready to take the first step. If you think I can be of help to you, then I'll take the first step towards helping you. I will volunteer. So always reach out to your younger siblings yourself. Take the leadership in the relationship, but not trying to rule them, but nurture them and as an equal relationship. This is how the Venus, Moon and Sun energies combined manifest for an Aries ascendant native about the 3rd house or siblings. And 3rd house has many other things. So short journeys, neighbors, your communication, your artistic abilities, so many energies come into the 3rd house. And that's why the number of combination and permutations which are possible about how energies play in a house are innumerable. Now just imagine there are only 12 ascendants. And we had billions of people who have been born and dead already. Since lakhs of years, maybe hundreds and thousands of billion people may have come and gone. Now you can't have only 12 types of people there, and that's why various permutations and combinations have been built into each one of them, including putting planets in different degrees, different aspects, different yogas there, so that so many combinations are possible, so that the soul can experience multitude of combinations, and through experiencing them get conscious of its own self, undergo self-realization, and ultimately achieves the overall goal of the supreme energy. The overall aim of the supreme energy is to know self, and to know self, it sends various souls into the world to experience different types of situations, and through the self-realization, knowing self and rising and meeting the Supreme Lord. And only when you have completed all your moksha, you go and meet the Supreme Lord with all the experiences put at his feet, and he or she, whoever, whatever gender you may call, manifests them, and through that the self-realization goes higher and higher. And so all the souls are doing nothing but contributing to the self-realization of self, and through the self of the supreme energy. And so various combinations have been given to us to experience different kinds of situations, different kinds of lives, and hence to see that the ascendant has a certain characteristic only because of the planetary energies or the sign energies is not true. All the energies of all the houses, of how you deal with different types of relations, situations, manifestations, all come together to give a characteristic. On the other hand, when you see the Venus energies for a Cancer ascendant native, here I am giving more examples of Venus here so that you can relate how Venus will play out in different ascendants, and then different planets accordingly can also be looked at. I am giving more Venus examples so that you can compare how Venus will manifest for different ascendants to have a similar standard, rather than putting into different combinations. So of course, I also talked about Mercury's involvement and the Moon's involvement for Aries ascendant native anyways. So anyways, we will also put in those snippets, but yeah, I'm going to keep to a large extent Venus energies in 2 or 3 different ascendants so that we understand that energy better, and then later on you can also look at how other sign energies and different planets will play for that particular ascendant. Say for example, for a Cancer ascendant native, now Venus rules your 4th house and your 11th house. The 4th house is Libra, or the 4th house rulership is given to Libra. Libra is relationships balance, and that's why a Cancerian is more focused towards the house, because what is Venus related to? Venus is related to what attracts you, what catches your attention. So here for a Cancerian, the attention is caught by the house. It is not only because you are Cancer, you are carrying your shell on your body, so you are carrying a house with you. That is not the only manifestation. The other manifestation is Venus rules your 4th house through the sign of Libra, through relationships, through what attracts you, and hence a Cancerian is attracted to the home, is more comfortable at home. So that is the other blueprint or other energies which adds to the overall blueprint for a Cancer native. Now Venus also rules the 11th house. What is the manifestation? Let's not take into account where Venus is placed, but what is the energies of Venus you are born with. So by virtue of ruling the 4th house and the 11th house, it means the combination of domestic life and balance and relationship with 11th house of society, societal connections, wishes and desires and aspirations being met, and working in large organization. All these energies are coming together. So which means that the aspirations and desires of the Cancer native are attached to the 4th house. Most of his aspirations and desires are about the family, are about relationships, is about balance, is about emotional connections with family and the house. And most of the wishes and desires are related to the family and the house. That's how you should see, rather than because it is Cancer, so the person is like this. That's not an accurate manifestation of an ascendant, but all these energies come together. However, when you look at the 3rd house for a Cancer native, the 3rd house is where Venus gets debilitated because it has Virgo energies. Now, because it has Virgo energies, but it also represents the younger sibling, it means that if you try to show a lot of nosiness. What is Virgo? Virgo is curiosity. Virgo is going deep inside and doing an analytics or analysis of the situation, finding fault, trying to perfect something. So if you get too nosy into the matters of the younger sibling and you try to help them through an analysis and say you should do this, you should do that, rather than trying to be helpful, rather than having a relationship which is equal relationship or empathetic relationship, if you try that, because that is the blueprint given to you, then you will spoil your relationship with the younger sibling, because Venus gets debilitated in the third house with Virgo energies being there. So dealing with younger siblings can be a challenge if you bring in the Virgo energies here, because that is the blueprint. But what you should do, you should take a step back and not be too nosy, not be too curious, not be too pokey or too curious, but keep yourself at a distance, and from a distance try to help your sibling, because otherwise the sibling may see you as being too nosy, and not try to mother the person too much, because here the fourth house energies is Libra, and that you're trying to connect to the third house of Virgo. You're trying to see how the Venus energies will relate to the third house. So here Venus gets debilitated. Here balance in relationships is not the appropriate way, but to take a step and allow the sibling to lead the way and you being a support from outside. And only when asked for can you be analytical, but not too analytical, not find too many faults in the sibling, because then there's going to be a challenge. And that's why for Cancer ascendant natives, the third house being Virgo, artistic singing doesn't come easy. They need to put in more effort here, and that's why they also get a lot of cold and cough. Not because Cancer is ruled by Moon alone, but it is also because the third house is where Venus gets debilitated, and Venus here is ruling the fourth house. Fourth house is the chest area, and so at the third house is the throat area, and so Venus getting debilitated, singing, your voice, you may usually get colds and coughs more regularly than somebody else. The chest may also be congested if the planets also are in a problem or in a analytic or in a malefic situation. But if you want to see Leo energies here for a Cancer ascendant native about the third house, and how will you see? Sun rules the second house. So here money, values, principles are getting connected. You are trying to connect them to the third house. Sun is not very comfortable in Virgo, which is the third house for a Cancer ascendant native. So if you try to lead your way over your younger sibling, or in short journeys, or in marketing, or in your communication, then there's going to be a problem, because people may see you as being too nosy, too analytical, and trying to overrule everybody else, putting your leadership over others, or trying to be a leader or try to be a boss over others. That's how you may be seen, because that is the blueprint of energies given to you. So you need to be careful if you're a Cancer ascendant native, not to try to be leader when you get connected to the younger sibling. Though the sibling is younger, not to be too bossy, not to say you should do this, you should do that, and in an analytical fashion try to approach them, and try to be too motherly or try to be too nurturing that you come across as trying to be a mother. So the younger sibling will turn around and say, you're not my father, you're not my mother, so don't try to be that. And take a step back. I don't want you to come and discuss my problems. I don't want you to be too nosy in my challenges. So this is if you bring in the Leo energies there. So you need to be real careful in the relationship, whatever the relationship. Fourth house is the mother. Here Venus energies are strongly present. So trying to have a more balanced relationship with the mother, allow the mother to have a say. Sometimes where you can have your say, it's better. Trying to allow your mother to show her emotions while you also show your emotions. Sometimes that is a better way, rather than trying to either completely be subdued by mother's mothering, or try to completely push back the mother. So each sign, each relationship, attributes of that particular sign has to be looked at in a larger context of what the sign energies are, and that is the blueprint that you're born with. And that's how you should understand how different planetary placements or energies will work there, and which energy to use there best. And hence that's why different signs rule different houses. It is a blueprint given to you which will work better, what will not work better, what planetary energies to bring forth, what planetary energies not to bring forth, what planetary energies to combine to deal with the matter of the house, what planetary energies to avoid in dealing with the matter of those house. For example, for a Cancer ascendant native, 4th house is ruled by Libra. Your Mars energies will not play a strong part. Mars energies, Mars also is the 5th house, and so trying to take too many risks, which the 5th house denotes, or trying to be too childish or too immaturish, because the 5th house is also the house of children, or trying to educate somebody, because the 5th house is also the house of education, and the 5th house is also Scorpio energies, and trying to muddle into other people's secrets, other people's affairs, then you are creating a challenge there, you are creating issues there. So the best way to deal with matters of the 4th house for a Cancer ascendant native is to use more Libra energies, use more Venusian energies, and those energies which are good here. Saturn gets exalted in Libra, so the Saturn energies of patience, of commitment, of loyalty, standing by will serve you better when you deal with matters of the 4th house, and using Venus energies will be better when you deal with matters of the 4th house rather than using either Mars energies, because Mars gets debilitated in the natural sign of Cancer, or trying to use Mercury energies of Virgo analysis, especially related to relationship concern, will not work for you. So look at any ascendant. Whenever you look at any ascendant, look at the overall energies of all energies put together, how that energy is manifesting, and for that particular house, which sign energies will work better, which sign energies will not work better, and using that sign energies which are stronger, more friendly, or more Trigon sign or ruled by this respective planet will help you better manifest the results of that house, rather than using the energies of an inimical planet which gets either debilitated there or is an unfriendly planet to that particular sign. For a Scorpio ascendant native, Venus rules the 12th house and Venus also rules the 7th house. So now the 7th house of relationships, commitment, business, dealing with other people on a day-to-day basis, 12th house of foreign affairs, foreign lands, but also losses and waste and excess, extra expenditure, all are getting connected. But Venus gets exalted in the 12th house. So whenever you are dealing with matters of relationships, and if you deal with relationships in a balanced manner, which the 7th house represents and Libra represents, then you will gain better gains, rather than trying to either take the upper hand or trying to play the child in the relationship or the subordinate part. You need to play a more balance and treat people accordingly. However, the challenge also for a Scorpio ascendant native is that Venus gets debilitated in the 11th house, which is Virgo. And so, what is the 11th house? The 11th house is general society, your extended network, and hence the reputation of the Scorpio for the general society with respect to Venus energies is that these people are too mysterious, these people are very sexy or sexual, and sometimes you cannot trust them. So the general characteristics or reputation of Scorpios in the society, because 11th house is where Venus gets debilitated in, and that is the 11th house is the general society, the extended society, the social network. They misunderstand Scorpios, and that's why in general Scorpios are misunderstood, because the 11th house has negative Venus energies, and hence in matters of intimacy people think Scorpios cannot be trusted. They are too sexy, it's difficult to understand them, they are too mysterious, you don't know what's going on in their mind. So many times, people will try to keep a distance from Scorpios or misunderstand them for not what they are, but try to think about them as something else, because the energies itself is misunderstanding energies, because Venus gets debilitated in the 11th house. But Venus gets exalted in the 5th house. So Scorpios can take more risks, because Venus gets exalted in the 5th house, and 5th house is romance. So Scorpio people sometimes can take risks in their romantic life and get away with it, but with a reputation which may be soiled, and hence Scorpio people get more opportunities of romance, and they may be excelling also in romance. They also have the magnetism to attract more people towards them, and also to have multiple relationships if they intend to do that. but of course the reputation will be soiled because the 11th house energies will also play their part. And so looking at how planetary energies play different parts in different houses, one should see Scorpio ascendant native, the loss is relationships where society is concerned, where reputation is concerned, but gain is of the 5th house. So because Venus rules the 12th house of hidden blood pleasures, and Venus is very strong in the 12th house for Scorpio ascendant native because it rules the Libra sign. So if you are connecting the Venus energies with the 5th house and using those Venus energies of balance, of relationships, of romance, of intimacy, then the Scorpio person will be more successful. But the loss, which is represented by the 12th house, will come to the 11th house of societal connection. The gain will be more intimacy, more partners, for example. And that's how you can see the Venus energies and all the different houses for a Scorpio ascendant native. If you are looking at Venus energies connected to the second house is Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is about the dharma. Second house is also principles and values, but it is also a fiery sign, which means you can't take a very fiery, very strong sign, very drastic sign connected to family, connected to immediate person who are living with you, your dad, your mom, your siblings, the family that you're born with. But you need to carry your principles along. You need to carry the family principles, the family values, and it as a duty connect with matters of the second house. You have a stronger duty to your family, and you need to connect with your family more as a duty. When Venus energies are brought in, where your love and affection should be, it's your duty to stand by them, it's your duty to love them, and you need to do that with the family principles, the values that the family has taught you, and not to refrain from this. That's how you manifest different energies for a different ascendants, and then you bring together, and then the overall characteristic of the ascendant as a blueprint is given to you. Who you are finally will be basis all the planets which are placed in your respective horoscopes. They bring together. That's a different added dimension to what blueprint you're born with because of being born in a certain ascendant, but that captures all the sign energies related to different houses put together and not the ascendant alone. For a Taurus ascendant native, it becomes slightly more tricky where relationships are concerned. Why? Taurus is ruled by Venus, and the 6th house is also ruled by Venus. However, the 7th house is where Venus is very strong because it is the Karak of the 7th house. But for a Taurus ascendant native, the 7th house is ruled by Mars because it is the Scorpio sign. But Mars also rules your 12th house. So the 12th house of losses and the 7th house of relationship is getting connected to the 6th house which Taurus also rules, and the Lagna also, your reputation also. And hence, the Venus energies when applied to the 7th house means that sometimes Taurus people will not be able to understand their partner well because the 7th house has Scorpio energy. So you may either misunderstand the partner, or you may think that the partner is too mysterious or keeps secrets, and if you try to deal with the partner without bringing in the balance in the relationship, giving them the space which Libra energies should define, then it is good. However, here Libra has the 6th house energies, which is also loss of relationship, which means if you don't bring in the balance in the relationship, you don't give the space. Balance in the relationship doesn't mean I will tell you everything about my life, you also tell me everything. Here you need to give the space. You tell everything about your life, everything that you feel the spouse needs to know, but give the space to the spouse to let them decide what they want to tell you and what they don't want to tell you. That is equal in the relationship, keeping the Scorpio energies in mind. If not, if you bring the 6th house Libra energies to the 7th house of balance, of equality, then the Scorpio energies which requires more space will ask the Libra energies to back off, and the relationship will go for a toss. And the 12th house, which is ruled by Mars, which also rules the 7th house, those losses, those aggression, that push back, that may come into the relationship, and the relationship will be fraught with disaster. And the 12th house and 6th house also energies and the Scorpio energies involved, it may lead to a break, it may lead to a separation, or it may lead to a bad relationship. And hence you need to be very, very careful of which energy you are bringing to the 7th house. The 7th house energies here are Scorpio. So keep in mind those energies and deal with them accordingly. And hence the blueprint that Taurus is born with respect to relationship, with respect to the 12th house, with respect to the 6th house and any house, is different from the overall blueprint given to an Aries guy or a Gemini person or a Cancer person or a Capricorn person. So look into your own ascendant, whatever your ascendant is, and then look at what the different energies are, which sign energy is stronger, which sign energy is weaker, what energies to bring in where, and what energies to avoid related to which relation and which house, and basis that deal with the manners of that house and that relationship accordingly. You cannot deal with all the relationships with the same manner. If your father, you will have to deal with different kinds of energies. If it's mother, you will have to deal with different kinds of energies basis what houses the 4th house represent, what sign the 4th house represents, what sign the 9th house represents, and using those energies you should deal with that relationship and with the matters of that house for better results, because that is the blueprint given to you. However, finally overall placements will definitely play a larger part. But you start with the blueprint and then you manifest that later. It is like this: you are living in an apartment complex, huge apartment complex. Everybody is living in everybody living in the apartment complex will have the same distance to the post office, will have the same distance to the market, will have the same distance to the school. But each one of them may have a different drive, a different ride. Somebody may want to walk their children to the school, somebody may drop their children to school, some of them may send their children to the school in a school bus, some of them may carpool and pick up different children from different houses and then drop them. Some children may skate their way to school or cycle their way to school. So the distance that or the time that is required for the child to reach the school will be different for different people, and that is a final planetary placement which is given in your horoscope. However, all of them living in the apartment have the same blueprint, and that is the blueprint of the ascendant and all the signs put together, which are giving you an overall characteristic to the ascendant and not only the ascendant energies alone. So keep in mind these different energies coming together and how to deal with different houses based on the energies and the signs and the friendliness and the inimical signs to them, and basis that handle and get better results of different houses and different relationships and different areas of your life. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.